Hi guys, how are you doing? My name is Alencia Janae and welcome to my channel. I've actually never said that before in a video. I'm really excited about this. Okay, first of all, let me start by saying I have some notes. So if you see me looking down or off camera a little bit, it's because I'm looking at my notes just to make sure that I hit all of my points that I want to, because I don't want to miss anything for you guys. A lot of you contact me on my social media, whether it be my Instagram or my TikTok, and you're always asking me, how did I get started modeling? How do you get started modeling? So I thought this video would be the easiest way for me to explain and give you my tips, things that worked for me, so that way you guys can get started. Also, let me start this video off by giving you a little bit of background about me. I hate when I go to someone for advice and they actually don't have any qualifications to give that advice. I'm telling you right now, I've been modeling for 15 years. I have the qualifications to give this advice. I have 6 agencies, both in the US and also internationally. I've been modeling since I was a teenager. I do commercial modeling, which would be a lot of the e-com photo shoots, any advertisements that you'd see online or any in your email, e-com, straight things like that. I've done high fashion runway shows. I've walked Fashion Week in Tokyo, Japan, London, New York, and Los Angeles. I am signed to agencies in Dallas, California, Seattle, Chicago, New York, and Germany, and hopefully adding some more to my list later on this year. I have worked in all areas of fashion, high fashion, and also, like I said, more everyday things. I've also done a little bit of commercial acting, doing a lot of national commercials. So therefore, you guys know, I actually do know what it is that I am talking about. I come with years and years of experience, so I really hope that you guys find this video super helpful. Today I'm going to be giving you guys the ultimate how to start modeling guide. When I was younger, I really wished that someone would have had a video out there like this to help me in my journey, because I think there's a lot of mistakes or things that I did that are easily avoidable if someone in the industry just simply would have told me, hey, you actually don't need to do this instead. I would have saved a little bit of money. I would have saved probably a lot of money, and I would have saved a lot of time, which in this industry is probably very important, probably your most important asset. Where can you find a modeling agency? So the best place to look for an agency, or to see if an agency that has contacted you is legit, is to go to the website models.com. Every legitimate agency is going to be on that website. If your agency or if someone is reaching out to you and telling you that they have an agency and you cannot find them on the site, I promise you they are a scam. People have a really good way of making it seem like they are amazing. They work with lots of clients. They know all of these people. And I'm here to tell you right now, it's all hearsay. It's very easy for someone to tell you that they know a model, that they represent them, or they represented them when they were younger. They might even show you photos of them together. That does not mean that they represented them. And even if it does, it doesn't mean that they represented them and they actually worked and made money. Unless you hear it directly from the talent's mouth that they worked with this person, I would not believe it. So models.com is going to be your best resource. Also, don't be afraid to reach out to other people in the industry and ask them what their experiences are with agencies. I do this all the time, especially when I'm scouting for agencies overseas. I want to make sure that girls that look like me and other girls are having really good experiences. Now, of course, every model is different. Models are never going to tell you the bad things that they do. They're only going to talk about the negatives of the agents. So take it with a grain of salt, everything that you hear, but don't ever be afraid to check your facts with people when they are reaching out. There are so many scams nowadays and people are falling for it, and I really hate that, because this is an industry where you do not have to get scammed to be successful. I actually, when I was younger, started off in a modeling school. I went to Barbizon. A lot of people have heard of Barbizon. I'm gonna say it was an amazing experience for me. As a young girl, I was growing up, I didn't really have a whole lot of friends, so being able to be in an environment with some women that were my own age, and we were learning, you know, how to do our makeup, how to walk, learn from people who were actually in the industry, it was very helpful for me, and it was a nice, easy way to go in. It was expensive. I don't know how much it was. My parents were grateful enough to pay for it because they, you know, believed in me at a really young age, and ultimately it did help me. But was it necessary and could I have skipped it? 100%. So please, if you want to be a model, do not feel like you have to go to a modeling school. It is absolutely not necessary at all. If you are a parent and you just want to send your kid because you know it's a great experience, great exposure, they can be around other kids and you know you can get them out of the house for a while, by all means do it. But it's not necessary to actually make it big or make it in the industry at all. And in the end, when I did graduate, it actually wasn't a good fit for me. And now looking back, I'm really glad that I did not sign with their agency, because I don't believe that I would have been as successful as quickly if I would have signed with them. I think I would have sat around. I think I wouldn't have worked. I think I would have continued to pay. And that's just kind of how places like that are set up. And for some people, that is their only option. But for people who are actually able to work in this industry, that's not your only option. And unfortunately, a lot of people get caught in that trap. So feel free to avoid the modeling school. Some of them are scams, some of them are not, but please feel free to avoid that step and just directly go to agencies. It's 100% possible, and it's okay. Everybody does it. Also, your agency is never going to ask you for money. Your manager is never going to ask you for money. To model, you do not have to pay your manager or your agency a monthly fee. I'm gonna say that one more time. You do not have to pay your agency or your manager a monthly, yearly, quarterly fee. They 100% make their money from the jobs they book for you. If someone asks you for money, it is a scam. Do you really think Naomi Campbell pays anybody monthly to book her jobs? My point exactly. So yeah, don't do any of that. It's not necessary. And I hate that so many people fall into that scam, but it's simply just because they do not know. When you sign with an agency, the only thing that you are going to have to pay for monthly is your website. That is you having your photo on the website, and you will have to pay for your comp cards. Your website images fee should not be anything more than, I think, $30 a month. And I think that's on the high end. Most of my agencies are around $15 to $20 a month. It's very inexpensive, and they usually take it out of your checks once a month. Some agencies actually waive the fee and you don't have to pay it at all, but it is pretty standard. And usually you do have to pay for your comp cards. Not always. I do have a lot of agencies that waive that fee as well, and I don't pay for them because so many comp cards have gone digital nowadays. So most of the agencies don't even really need them, but every now and then there are clients who do like to ask them. Other than that, you shouldn't have any fees. Digital should be free, and the only things you should pay for are photo shoots. Some of your photo shoots will be free. If it's a test, that means it's a collaboration between a photographer, a makeup artist, a stylist, hair and makeup. Then it will be free. But if you have a specific idea in mind, I would recommend contacting a photographer and paying their rates to get a team together to get your book, and when I say book, I mean your portfolio started. Those are the only things that you should have to pay for. And honestly, when you're just starting out with modeling, you probably only really need 2 really good shoots. One that's going to be really editorial and another that's going to be commercial. When I say commercial, I mean the smiley, e-com, think Target, think Macy's, think, hey, I have a product and I want you to sell it. That's commercial. And for your editorial things, think more Gucci, Tom Ford, high fashion. You'll be wearing something designer, or you'll be styled very well, both in and out of the studio. You're also going to want to get some beauty photos, which would be anything from the shoulders up. Those are all of those pretty, think CoverGirl, L'Oreal, Rimmel London, any of those clients like that. With those basic areas covered in your portfolio, you'll be able to book any job your agents are able to throw at you. Absolutely. And it will cost money up front, but I promise you, once you start getting booked, you will very quickly make that money back and you won't even miss it. So don't be scared away by any of the prices that photographers or people in the industry may give you, because it is 100% worth it. Once you have a good book, you're golden. That is your resume in the modeling world. First step to getting started in the modeling industry is going to be to find an agency. Everyone asks this question: where do I find my agency? How do I know that they're legit? How do I know that I can do all these things? Well, I'm about to tell you. Also, let me start with this little bit of advice. I am a signed model. I have only worked in my career as a signed model. I was unsigned, I think, for the first 2 months of me working, and then I got my first agency, and from there I've always maintained having an agency. In my opinion, this career is a lot easier when you have an agency. Girls who are not signed, I'm telling you right now, they do a lot more work than I do. They are constantly self-submitting themselves. They have to go out to castings all the time. They are constantly have to keep that contact with brands, photographers, stylists, hair and makeup artists. It is a lot of self-promotion. And ultimately, you're gonna miss out on those big ticket clients because there are some clients you're just not going to be able to reach by finding someone's email or contacting them through social media. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Tom Ford, Sephora, any of these big major giant brands are not taking model submissions through their social media accounts. So you're not gonna be able to get in touch with people who are actually booking the jobs and things that you're wanting to go after. So in my opinion, it's a lot easier and it's a lot better to have an agency. Also, when you do run into trouble with clients are very quick to screw you over when it comes to money and usage and your time on set. If you're a signed model, I don't care how big your attitude is, you're not going to get disrespected in those areas. You have a full agency behind you, which also means you have a lawyer behind you. If things go wrong, you have someone who is going to chase, collect, and get your payments every time. When you're unsigned, you run the risk of people running off and not paying you everything you're owed or overstating their usage boundaries on projects. And you just want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So in my opinion, I'm always going to suggest that you get an agency. All agencies take an agency fee. I don't care if you're Bella Hadid, you're Kendall Jenner, you're me, you're another girl at another agency. Everybody pays their agent 20%. If you have a manager, you're gonna pay between 15 and 20%. That's just standard. That does change from country to country. I know in the US, it's very standard to do 20%. If you have an agency that comes to you and they tell you they want anything more than 20%, I'm gonna tell you right now, most likely it's probably a scam. You wanna stay away from anyone that has numbers that are higher than 15 or 20%, with 20% being the standard. And honestly, for all the work that they're doing, they're getting you out there to clients, they're constantly submitting, pushing you, getting you all of these jobs. 20% is a very small number compared to the amount of money that you're going to be getting on your checks. I'm just gonna leave that there because I feel like that's the biggest argument between signed and unsigned models, that 20%. I'm like, babe, I am more than happy. Every single one of my agents absolutely earns their 20%, sometimes even more, because they go above and beyond for me, and I am forever grateful for it. I'm telling you right now, I pay 20%. You should pay 20%. Do not try to get into this industry and think you are going to get jobs and you're never going to ever pay anyone commission. At the end of the day, the relationship that you have with your agency is a partnership. You do your part, they do theirs. So you should be able and be happy to compensate your agents who have your best interests in heart, because at the end of the day, if you're not working and you're not making money, they're not making any money. So they usually only have your best interest in heart. Okay, so obviously there are a lot of agencies out there. I've already told you to look at the website models.com to make sure that your agency is legit. So when it comes to picking the right agency, what are the things that you should look for? When I go into an agency, obviously I am a person of color, so I do look at how diverse their board is. And when I say their board, that's all the models that they have signed. You can very easily look at that when you go to their website and just look at their main board, their new faces, anything like that. You can see. I like to ask a lot of questions when I go into the agency. I go in, I've also been modeling for a while, but I let them know these are the types of clients that I want, these are the types of jobs I want to do, and these are my goals in the industry. And then I ask them, how are you going to help me to achieve those goals? Do you have clients that you think would be a good fit for me? And let me tell you what every agent's going to say. Yeah, we've got clients. So let me give you a little industry secret on how to call BS when you see it. Ask them, okay, name some of the clients that you work with that you think would be a good fit for me. Wait for the answer. that's how you know if they really, really see you and they see money. When you walk in there, you want your agents to look at you and think, I'm gonna make a lot of money off of you. That's it. That's the industry. That's the business that we're in. You're selling yourself. You want people, when they see you, to want to sell you in a non-weird way. You want your agent to look at you and go, wow, we're gonna make a lot of money together. They should be excited for you. I don't care how big the agency is, how big the board is. If they are not excited about you in the meeting, I would highly recommend you walk away. I've had experiences like this with my agencies, with some of them that I'm signed with, some that I've used to be signed with. And I will always say the agencies that I met that were excited about me in our initial meetings, those are the agencies I've been with the longest and the ones that I'm happiest with. So make sure that the excitement for you is genuine and real, because ultimately those are going to be the agents that are going to push you the most, and they're going to make the best recommendations for you, and ultimately they're going to book you the best work. So when it comes to picking, use that to kind of help out. As far as going with a bigger agency or a boutique agency, I can honestly say I have experience with both. Some of my agencies are bigger, and then I also have some agencies that are more boutique in smaller markets. Both of them have been just as good for me. Like I said, it's not always about the agency, it's about your individual agents. The agents there are the ones who are putting you out there. Yes, names help get you in the door, but how your agency pushes you and how much they push, how your agent pushes you and how much they push you, that's a totally different story. So when it comes to that, don't be afraid. I know some girls say they don't want to go to a bigger agency and get lost on the board. You can get lost on a smaller agency's board as well. It's all about how the agents feel about you, but also you have to be willing to put the work in. Agents do a lot of work. They do a lot of work that they don't tell us about. They're constantly on their computers, constantly submitting us, constantly doing things. You also have to do your part. Respond to their emails quickly. Always be available. Be very clear about your schedule. Any changes or any time you can't work, be the first to let them know. Don't have them tracking you down. The worst thing in the world is an agent who has to email you, text you, and call you just to get you to respond to a job. I'm telling you, these agents, once they know that that's your pattern, they are not going to push you for jobs because you're not reliable. At the end of the day, they are a company and they're here to make money. And if you can't respond to simple castings and emails, questions that they have, then how do they know that you're going to go to a job that's booked and confirmed on time? I'm telling you, I have a lot of friends that don't go to jobs. They will get them and agents will tell them they will do all this work, and girls just simply will not respond and will not go. Agents will stop submitting you. You will sit on that board, and then that's when the model will come back and be like, I didn't like this agency. They never sent me out. They never did anything. Ask them how many of their emails they responded to and how long it took them to respond. I understand some people have other jobs outside of modeling, but if modeling is 100% your only job, which for me it is, for my entire life, I've only been a model, always available, and I'm telling you that that works in my favor, and that's part of the reason why I'm so successful at this career. So go with an agent that is excited about you overall and ultimately sees your vision. If you tell someone these are the types of jobs I want to do and they tell you you're not a good fit for that and they don't believe in that and they don't want to do that, probably not the agency for you, especially if they can't come up with other alternatives based on your look. So go in, have a positive attitude, make your demands. Don't be afraid to communicate exactly what it is that you want and what it is you expect out of your career, because they will respond to you, and ultimately you're just going to end up getting what you want. A closed mouth does not get fed in this industry. Like I said earlier in the video, I do have multiple agencies. I'm signed in San Francisco, California, Seattle, Chicago, Texas, New York, and Germany, and hopefully a few more. I'm working on some more international placements because I really love to travel. You can have multiple agencies, and honestly, I highly suggest this. This is how I stay so busy and why I'm able to travel so much, because I have so many agencies in so many different areas reaching out to clients all over the US. So if you have the opportunity to get signed in multiple places, take advantage of it. Even if 1 or 2 agencies don't get you but maybe 1 job a month throughout the year, that's still 12 jobs a year from just that one agency, and that's only going to grow while you have other agencies and other places constantly pushing you out. And then of course you'll be able to travel to places in between. Your agents will work together. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Always keep your cool and let them do your jobs. But you are able to have multiple agencies. They just have to be a certain distance apart. So I would always recommend one in one city, one in another city. The reason why San Francisco and California and LA work is because they're so far apart. There's a lot of different clients in between. Sometimes they overlap and your agencies will worry about the jurisdictions and things like that. But for the most part, you can have an agency in just about every major fashion state. That's in the US and globally in the international market. So you can be signed in Paris, you can be signed in Italy, France, you can go to Germany as well, Portugal, Greece, while being signed all over the US as well. And like I said, this only works in your favor. So highly suggest, if you get one agency, don't stop. If your career is going to keep going, get as many as you can. There's absolutely nothing stopping you, no laws. And if someone tells you that you're not able to do that, they probably don't have the best intentions for you, or you should probably get away from them because it might be a scam. Are you able to leave your agency? Yes, you are able to leave your agency. You will have to consult your contract. Most of them are different, but it's between a 30, 60, or 90-day notice that you will have to give. Some of my agencies have 30-day notices, some of them have 60s, and then some of them have 90. And they will let you know. Usually they need a written email or a letter letting them know. Sorry, I'm getting so tongue-tied. You letting them know that you would like to leave and things like that. Ultimately, always read your contract before you sign it. They usually are all very standard, but sometimes there are a few differences, and this is one of them. Ultimately, always consult a lawyer before you leave. I know that there are some girls that tell me that they do have problems or issues when they try to leave their agencies because they are leaving on bad terms, or maybe the agency just doesn't want to let them go because they're such an amazing model and they make so much money. And you will run into problems. And again, always consult a lawyer. Every situation is completely different, and you don't ever want to leave with a really bad taste in your mouth because, like I said, word travels very quickly. If you leave your agency on a bad note, most of all agents all know each other, so the news will spread very fast. And I don't mean just in the area where you're at, I mean over the world, over the country. I've seen it happen to girls all the time. So if you can, try to leave on the best of terms, because you don't want to get blacklisted, especially in the early parts of your career, because I'm telling you, this is one industry where you literally can never ever come back from that, and it'll just make your career that much harder to maintain and achieve any types of goals that you have coming up for the future. I hope this video was really helpful and it answered most of your basic how do I get started modeling and agency questions. If there was anything that I left out, please leave me a comment down below and I will do my best to try to answer it, and maybe a part 2, or just in the comments if it's an easier question. I hope this video was really helpful, and I really do hope that you guys are able to come into the industry that has been such a big major part of my life, an industry that I love being a part of, and an industry that, you know, I feel like at this point I couldn't live without. So take care, stay tuned for more content, and let me know your thoughts of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I promise I'm gonna start uploading on a more regular basis, and I'm gonna be more present for you guys because I love my YouTube family. You know, you guys are there and I love you guys, and I don't want you to feel like I don't post videos or care, because I love this channel and I love the idea of creating more video content. I think it's great. I love that you guys can see a little bit more of my personality and we can get a little closer, you know what I mean? So take care, and until next time, stay beautiful. Bye.